Everybody, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. And at the end of the video, if you like the content that you did see, like and share a comment. Today, we're going to kind of talk about Apple and kind of give my opinion on what's going on with the state of Apple in 2019, in the back part of 2018, and why the iPhone sales are down lower than they've ever been since they, introduced the first iPhone. If you look at a couple of, if you've seen the news or you've seen a couple of YouTube videos in regarding to what Tim Cook says, he blames it on a couple of different things. China is not ordering as many phones because they're in a economic slowdown or whatever. That could be part of the reason, but that's not the main influence of the reason. The main influence of the reason is the price of the iPhone. Now, myself, I am a huge Apple fan. My desktop, my laptop, my cell phone. At one point in time, I had an Apple Watch. I've had iPads, Apple Pencil. I have an Apple TV in my living room right now. I absolutely love Apple. Probably at this point, I'm never going to switch. And anyone knows with Apple, there is what some people call in the industry the Apple tax, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm not against paying for Apple products and paying a little more than I would pay for, say, a Windows computer. Like with my iMac and my MacBook Pro, they're both mid 2009, late 2009, and they still function, and I can still do everything with them. Like I bought them out of the box, and I bought both of mine used. My iMac, I've updated the hard drive, I've updated the memory. My MacBook Pro, I'm pretty close to doing the same thing with that one too to keep it up. But they work probably 85 to 90% as good as they did out of the box brand new back in 2009, 2010. So that's one of the reasons why I think that it kind of justifies paying the outrageous prices. And I really wouldn't say outrageous prices back when, but with today's prices in iPhones, I think Apple has realized, or they need to realize, because I think that Tim Cook is just trying to hide from the real truth that they've hit a ceiling price, or they've breached that ceiling price with their iPhones. To get into the iPhone XS is pretty close to $1,000. If you want the iPhone XS Max, it's over $1,000. And that's just the entry models. That's not, if you want, more memory size or anything like that. And I believe that they've realized, or they need to realize once again, that people are not going to pay that. And then they come out with an even cheaper version, that doesn't have the same type of screen. So it's a cheaper version, and people are a little bit upset about that. Some are, but the iPhone, I guess it's called the XR, is selling, a lot better than the iPhone X or the iPhone S Max. But the problem is with Android phones or anything like that, you can get almost the same phone for a little over half the price. Myself, I'll just keep my iPhone 10 until they realize it. But it's gotten as bad, and I think they realize that they're now overpriced too much, that they're offering way more on their website. So I guess if you go in a store and you trade in iPhone 7, iPhone 8, iPhone 10, that they're going to give you more than they would, because their website is describing that you can get the iPhone XR for $400 or $500. You can get the iPhone XS. I'm not sure if it's the XS or the XS Max for, I think it's under $700. So I think they realized at this point that they're now charging too much. And I think they've realized that they're not innovating like they would say if Steve Jobs was still here. In my own personal opinion, I don't find Tim Cook needs to be in that position. He's not innovative. He's not pushing the boundaries like Steve Jobs did. He's, the iPhone 10, the iPhone 10s or the 10s Max is pretty much the same phone. He's just upgraded some of the stuff, like the chip has been updated. They've updated a little bit of stuff, but it pretty much looks just like it did. The iPhone 10 sold a lot better because, we had, three phones. We had the 6, the 6S, and the 7 that looked just like the original, just like the 6. And when the 10 came out, it was a completely different design. And then, also their laptops and their iPad, their iPad Pro lineup is more expensive than it was before, and they keep tacking these prices. And that's why that's why their stock has fallen quite a bit, and that's why their sales are not going the way that they had planned. They're losing, they're predicting, they've cut back on their sales, and they've actually took off. We're not going to make this many billion, we're going to make this many billion, and it's like a big chunk. Losing $1 billion is a lot of money. I don't care who you are, whether you're Apple, Microsoft, whatever. $1 billion will turn someone's head quick. So if Apple doesn't innovate and Apple doesn't come down on their prices, people are not going to be willing to spend more money with Apple. Usually when the new iPhone comes out, I'm within a couple of months of it coming out. I go out and I get the new iPhone, and I do this every single year. If I have to change cell phone companies just to get the new iPhone, I have no problem doing that. And I know, some people may say that's a little immature, but, that's just the kind of person I am. And with my laptop and my desktop both being Apple, now it's, now my laptop and my desktop have gotten to a point where it's hard to update at this point, because now the updates are not compatible with my computers, and I can't download apps. Like I said in my other video that I put up today, I had to call Apple to get it to update so I could put iMovies on so I could edit videos for you guys. So now I need to get into new computers. I need, I don't really have a problem with, getting a new iMac for, $17.99, I think it is. But the new MacBook Pro at, $2,500, that's a big price jump, from, what they were before. Or if I get a 13-inch, it's almost, it's lower by half. It's just not making sense. And, on the subject of the MacBook Pros, they're not as powerful as they need to be. The iMac Pro is, I really want it, but I don't know if I can justify spending $5,000 on that computer just entry level. You stack on upgrades, better CPUs, better memories, better hard drives, things like that. You can get, you can spend almost $10,000, or I think you can break $10,000 on it. Apple is just not doing what they need to do. They're not innovating like they would, if Steve Jobs was still around. I honestly believe that, Tim Cook has outlived his time at Apple. He needs to either, come down on position, let someone else take over the company. Someone that's more insighted to what Apple used to be, because they're no longer what they used to be. They are, a shadow of their previous self. Back when Steve Jobs had the company, like the iPhone, in my opinion, Apple created the smartphone industry. No one was doing it like Apple. Now Apple is now playing catch up. And on top of playing catch up, they're not innovating. Their prices are way too high. No one should ever have to pay $1,000 or over $1,000 for an iPhone. That's the reason why I don't have the iPhone XS Max. It kind of irritated me that, last year with the iPhone 10, we didn't get the bigger iPhone 10, because I always, the iPhone 6, 6S, 7. I didn't get the 8. I jumped from the 7 Plus to the 10, but 6, 6S, 7. I've always went for the Plus. So when I first started watching the keynote on the new iPhones, I was extremely excited because they had the 10s Max, and then I saw the price, and I don't feel kind of justified for buying that phone for that. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, you're going to see me with this phone, March, April, May, or something like that, or I may just completely just hold out until the new phone just to see what they do. From the leaks that we've all seen, the video, of the videos on YouTube of leaks and things like that, it's pretty much going to be, it's going to look almost just like the iPhone 10 and the iPhone 10s. Something needs to be done here. Something has got to be done. They're not innovating. They're not doing anything that they did 10 years ago. I just think it's time for, Steve Jobs to walk away, or either, go down a position, or, something needs to happen. Because, now you're spending more money for less stuff. Like there was a YouTube video that I seen, I don't remember how long ago it was or anything like that, but like when Steve Jobs had the company, you got your computer and you got a couple of dongles and you got a couple of different stuff, with it. And now they've completely separated where you just get the laptop. And if you want dongles, you have to purchase those dongles separately. So you could spend a lot of money just in accessories. And if you shoot videos or edit photos or anything and you use an iMac for it, you're going to have to spend a lot more money unless you find one piece you plug into the side of your laptop. They also do the USB-C, and last year you couldn't even do anything with your iPhone because the iPhone 10 wasn't compatible with USB-C. They've taken all the ports away, so they're doing, whatever they're thinking, they need to rethink it and start over. I mean, redesign everything. There's rumors that the new iMac is going to get redesigned, and I think I'm going to wait to buy a new iMac, after that day, after we find out or it gets released or whatever. From what I've seen on the specs of the iMac, the 21-inch and the 27-inch, and they may even be bigger than that because of the fact of their redesigning it. It's going, the iMac is going to be 10 years old. So they need to figure something out. They need to, hire someone else to design this stuff, figure out how to make these phones cheaper, take away what I call the Apple tax, and drop the price of these things. This is horrible. Apple needs to figure this out, and Apple needs to get themselves where they're back on top and they're innovating, and what have they invented new here lately? What, that little Apple speaker thing? It doesn't even deserve to be called by its actual name. From what I heard, it flopped. The Apple Watch sales are okay. They're losing money, and they need to step up and be like, okay, this is why we're losing money, so let's figure this out, drop our prices, and go from there. So let's figure it out, Apple. Let's step up and figure out what's going on. How do we get our prices lower on everything? You don't have to include the dongles, but drop the price of the 15-inch laptop. On the MacBook Pro 15-inch, drop the price of your phones. There is no reason for you to have, $1,000 iPhone 10s Max, and then, you drop down, to the iPhone XR, and that phone is under $800. Of course, everyone's going to go for that $800 phone. And it's the bottom line of all the phones, and that's what a lot of people are mad at. It has nothing to do with China's trade wars. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. I don't think that's probably 20-30% of your loss of sales. America needs to be your main focus, period. You've got probably millions of people that are going to upgrade their phone, their iPads, whatever, every year. And that's just, that's the way that I am. Except for this year, I'm not going to the iPhone XS Max today. It may be a couple of months if I can find a good deal with it. So Apple, come on, let's get this figured out. Let's get your prices dropped and go from there. All right, let's get those sales back up. Let's get the Apple fans what they want. Understand that you're a business, you're trying to make money, but when you cut the legs from underneath your customers, you're going to have a lash. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to quit babbling for right now. That is my take on Apple and why their sales are slow. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content. I'm going to do a couple of different of my opinions on different companies and things like that. I know probably my next video is going to be about GameStop, and then the next one is going to be about Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so just so you guys know. So give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.